All right, ready. Kirby Smart is here.
Yep.
All the other people trying to recruit high school athletes are somewhere down in here. We're going to talk about why Kirby's still the king of college football recruiting next on the Locked On Bulldogs podcast.
You are Locked On Bulldogs, your daily podcast on the Georgia Bulldogs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Locked On Bulldogs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. Today's episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Monarch Money. Go over there right now, monarchmoney.com. More on them in a second.
Take control of your
We are
finances.
talking about control. How about Kirby Smart controlling every single recruiting thing that he wants to do? We got three things to talk about. Ready? It's a 4-star, a 4-star, and a 4-star that likely will get bumped up to 5-star, 5-star, 4-star likely is how that's going to go based upon what we got. We are breaking down how Kirby Smart is still king of recruiting, and I was told in NIL it was going to level the playing field. Well, it just turns out that it made everybody box in a phone booth with Kirby Smart, and he's tougher, badder, and smarter than you are. So he is taking it to them on the recruiting trail. Daniel, I give you the floor to ask me the first question about recruiting that is so important for Georgia in 2026.
Well, it's ironic. It's a little. The segment one is brought to you by Alanis Morissette because it is on our last episode, Clint. We had a question in that we ask you every week, by the way. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being a first listener. Thanks for being an everydayer. Thanks for being part of the loyal third segment listeners, the 199 who make this podcast go. And every single week we say, if you're a part of the 199 and you've got a question that you want us to talk about, you've got a burning question this offseason that you want us to discuss, we'd love to hear about it. We'd love to answer it. We'd love to discuss it on the pod. And on our last episode, forgive me for I don't have the name in front of me. And so I do apologize for not having the name of this listener. But a listener on YouTube, a viewer on YouTube, in the comments asked on our last episode, what do we think about Kirby Smart and the University of Georgia's recruiting at the wide receiver position specifically? It turns out that in the last 48 hours since that video was published and that comment was made, things have happened, Clint. And so I will just ask you, Clint, what do you think about Kirby Smart and the University of Georgia's recruiting at the wide receiver position specifically? Any thoughts on that?
Well, already we have two all-world talents at Georgia right now getting practice reps.
In the 2025 class.
Correct. 2025, we already have that. We have transfer portal kids coming over to get recruited and get drafted and go play college ball and do their thing. Now, Jared Curtis, part of this class, Ogboku, by the way, part of this class, which if he doesn't make it in the top 20 by the time it's all said and done, he's gonna do it. Quarterback, tackle. Now you start looking at the skill positions. We have defense on lockdown. We're going to get to another offensive guy here in segment number 2. But you look at Clint Dandridge coming on, staying in Georgia, coming on over to Athens. And here's how the recruiting of wide receiver is going. Everybody in their entire world wants Kirby Smart to get fast, quick guys at wide receiver, a la Ohio State. And I think what people misunderstand is when you have fast, big guys, you typically have a certain set of skills within that makes getting to a spot, running your route, getting to a spot, having a wide catch radius. That's a Colby Young type thing. I know what Thomas said, but you have to have those guys on your squad, okay? Where you're running, you're kind of boxing a guy out, you're getting up in to the catch radius and coming down the catch. But Kirby Smart is not a one-trick pony. He has guys like that already on the roster. He has tight ends like that. He has all physicality tight ends, catching guys, receiving guys on the roster. What he said is, I want to go out and I want to get Craig, who does not possess that same type of physicality that a Rydell gets, that a Lawson Lucky, that Noah or Colby Young has. He's 6'1", he's 180. What he does have is this, and I can't stress this enough, how Kirby Smart compiles a roster, not just based upon talent, but gets guys in position that knows how to work the Mike Bobo system, which we know will work. Craig is a guy who his feet don't stop to catch a football. Now, I know that statement sounds simple and sounds stupid, but I'm going to say it again to you to make you understand just how this works. His feet don't stop when he catches the football. If you look at his tape, you look at what he is. He continues to run the route, and his catch radius is, I need to keep going in where I want to get. And this ball needs to get here in a sample of time. And I'm not going to be in a position that all of a sudden I'm possessing, I got it, I'm falling back, I'm falling to the sideline. No. This guy is looking to create after the catch. He's great in route running. He's looking to, after he gets the ball, electricity is in this guy's hits and feet. It is jitterbug-esque what he's able to do. He's catching the ball, he's pivoting, he's moving from defenders, and I swear, looking at the film, he has this sixth sense. Some guys, when you go down the Y and play pickup game, know where the screen is coming and can work right over it or under it all day long. You don't have to call him out. You don't have to say left, right. You're like, nah, I know where it is. I know where he's coming from. This guy seems to know where the defenders are after he catches the ball without looking where the defenders are. He is scat-like. He is going to be somebody that looks to be in the slot, looks to be on the outside, slanting, going, getting guys out of position. And I can't stress this enough. Run after catch is going to be this man's just signature within Mike Bobo's system. Kirby Smart's doing just fine, Daniel. Just fine. Getting wide receiver recruits to come play at Georgia, especially with varying different skill sets.
Wide receiver recruiting at Georgia is going quite well. Okay. 2025 class, including high school recruits and transfer portal, best incoming crop of wide receivers to ever come to the University of Georgia, ever.
Literally, not an exaggeration and not close.
No. And 2026, he's parlaying that. Craig Dandridge comes on in. I'll tell you what I love about this kid. I don't disagree with anything that you've said, Clint. Dandridge takes his last official visit to Georgia, Clint, on May the 30th. Okay. I know this is getting deep in the weeds for some people. May the 30th. All right. As we record this, it's June the 26th. He takes his last official visit to Georgia on May the 30th, and then he visits Tennessee, he visits Florida, he visits Oklahoma. And after visiting those three schools, he signs on the dotted line and commits to the University of Georgia and Kirby Smart. What I'm trying to tell you is that if you have half a brain, you will put the pieces together and you will see not all these programs are created equal. Yes, some of them might be offering me X amount of dollars. Yes, some of them might be flashing fancy cars and jewelry and perks and whatever in front of me. But there is only one program that has it in mind to get me exactly where I want to go, and that is the University of Georgia. That's what Dandridge sees. He sees it over schools like Tennessee, which I've been told is an offensive juggernaut, an absolute pass-happy wide receivers get all the yards that they could possibly want in this system. I mean, the coaching staff knows how to move the ball through the air. Florida, Billy Napier, offensive genius, savant. Got the best quarterback in the SEC this year. Got everything going on for them. These are the schools that Dandridge said, "No, I'm not. I'm not interested in that."
If you want to continue being upset and Mike Bobo and Kirby Smart having him put, I just ask you, Do you not think these young men want the best situation for them to excel in? And do you not think that those who play football for a living, for employment,
it's their job? Don't mistake it. It's why you hate college football. It's their job. That's
why wouldn't it? This is what Kirby's. He is outclassing those wide open offenses all day, and it's remarkable. Dan's going to come back, and he's going to ask me, or I'm going to ask him a question about a running back that I'm just here to tell you I need comps to some excitement. But first, these. And these are, in fact, Monarch Money. Daniel and I know all too well how time goes on, and so your money goes down the drain, and we are just
take control, Clint.
Take control. Guess what? Monarch Money puts you in the driver's seat. It's like having your personal CFO, full visibility control over finances. It's not just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. Not only do you get to manage your money, you're also getting to go ahead on get going on building wealth. Guess what? You can track categories. You can look at subscriptions, takeouts, all added up, all at your fingertips, all ready to go. That goal you've been meaning to get serious about financially, guess what? Monarch Money is going to be the one to have you take control. Take control of your finances, Monarch Money. Use promo code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com. 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com. Code LOCKEDONCollege for half off your first year. Daniel, you asked me about wide receiver. Listener asked you actually about wide receiver. You then asked me. We're in great hands. I'm going to ask you just point blank. And it's a pretty easy one in a question to pose. And that's Jay Lamar makes his commit to UGA. Running back staying in state, top 100 nationally, top 10 running back, 6 foot, 205. Jay Lamar. Daniel, I ask you, on a scale of 1 to 10, what does this cat do to move the needle for you on excitement of running back recruitment next year at Georgia, Daniel?
Okay. Now, let me start here. He's rated currently as somewhere between the 6th and 9th rated running back in this class, depending on which recruiting service you look at. This is not a Nate Frazier, for example, who was, top 1-2 running back in his class coming into Georgia. And so according to the experts, if you're listening on audio, please understand that I am using the heaviest of air quotes here. Yes. According to the experts, that's where he ranks in terms of his status. Now that we've gotten all that out of the way,
go ahead.
There are two types of people listening to this podcast right now, Clint, and I'd like to speak to both of them in turn, if I may.
The type of fan. Daniel speaks fan better than anybody else.
I want to translate to both types of fan. Okay? First of all, let me address the old school type of fan. Now, I don't know what age you are. I don't know how advanced in years you are, but you might just be an old school type of fellow or lady. You have been following Georgia football for a minute. You're not excited about all this NIL stuff. You don't get behind all of the new changes that are coming to college football. I'd like to speak directly to you for a moment, if I could.
You may.
Jay Lamar comes to the University of Georgia from Moultrie in Colquitt County. Now, if you are a, let's say, longtime enthusiast to Georgia high school football, then you know that there is something different when we start getting into that region of the world. And so that alone, even if you're not the type of person that likes to watch tape, even if you're not the type of person that likes to follow recruiting rankings, if I just pulled you aside and said, hey, Georgia just signed a highly touted running back from Moultrie that Auburn and Clemson and Florida State were all heavily invested in, you might say to yourself, oh, I think I'll be following along. It's as if Georgia signed a safety from Bainbridge, Clint.
Mhm.
That's what it is. Listen, these words don't mean anything to the foolish, but to the wise, they mean everything to the long-time Georgia follower. Now, let me speak to the newer school of listener to this. Maybe Colquitt County doesn't mean anything to you. Maybe Moultrie doesn't mean anything to you, right?
Sure.
Let me ask you if this means anything to you if you've been a listener of this show for any length of time. I'm going to say 3 words to talk about Jay Lamar, and I don't believe I'll need to say much more, Clint, in order to give you my understanding of who this young man will be. Are you ready for the 3 words?
Give it to me.
They are ghost on skates is what they are, Clint.
I'm so glad you said it, Daniel.
Those are the 3 words, and I feel like expanding upon that would honestly be patronizing to
It
the
would be a
listener.
disservice.
It would be a disservice. Jay Lamar is the reincarnation of Ghost on Skates, James Cook, Buffalo Bills standout running back currently. He is the type of back that you think you have an angle on, and you do not have an angle on him. He is literally like he has evaporated into nothing. You have thought that you are going to hit him, and you hit nothing but air. He is a ghost on skates. He is King Boo himself, Clint. That's who Jay Lamar is. I could not be more excited for this get for the University of Georgia.
Go look at Lamar's tape, and you will find yourself. When there are some guys whose just football acuity transcends a play. They know how to be patient. They know how to work the system. They know how to get into it. It's like Larry Bird touching the court, and all of a sudden you're like, this cat can't play with us. And they're like, oh no, he just knows how to play basketball and can get the ball in the bucket. When you think of guys like this, you think of a guy like James Cook, who found himself constantly in the right lane at the right time. Timing is so important. One of the biggest beefs I have with running backs, you can be all physical, all world, all you want. If you don't know how to make set up a defender, set up your blocks, time things well.
Yeah.
I don't care your size speed ratio. I don't care your toughness. I really don't. I need guys that can set a guy up, that knows the flow, that has vision and perspective. And when you look at Lamar's tape, you see a guy that when he gets the ball in his hands, it's like he was jogging. He hasn't been setting up before he gets the ball.
Yeah, that's right.
But then he gets the ball, and it's like that thing all of a sudden gives him an extra oomph. It's a turbo blast all of a sudden. And he is taking guys who otherwise are good athletes, no angles, no physicality, know how to play football. But anybody who's smarter, who can set things up, who can get you to pause for half a moment inside. Half a moment is all he needs, because then he turns his hips and he flies, and you have to react, and your reaction speed is not as good as his actual speed.
No.
You're toast.
No, it's not. Yeah.
And that's what James Cook had, and I cannot. I saw Lamar get taken. And again, 6 foot 205, you're like, oh, it's not that imposing. Oh, we need to run the damn ball, Bobo. And okay, just James Cook wasn't that guy, and he was beyond efficient. Beyond efficient at UGA. And I think with the rest of running backs we have is going to be quite remarkable. We're going to come back after this. Daniel's going to ask me a question again. How is Kirby is just putting guys where he wants them in NIL recruiting? Y'all done screwed up. We're going to talk about the importance of that right after these. Daniel, if you haven't heard about it, Rogiette is out here. You probably heard of Viagra and Cialis. Maybe you even heard of them. Maybe you tried them, but you're looking for something different beyond the usual pill. That's Rogiette is coming to your help. It's the next generation prescription treatment designed to amplify arousal in the brain and boost blood flow. Its 3-in-1 formula dissolves under your tongue and kicks in fast, on average 15 minutes. Lasts up to 36 hours, so you can stay confident in control. Moment is right. If traditional options haven't worked, guess what? over 150,000 men have already made the switch over Rogiet. You can even read the customer's review on their site. A lot of helpful people giving you insight, giving you there. Head to rogiet.com, Locked On College, and use promo code Locked On College. Get 15% off today. That's RUGIET.com/Locked On College. Use promo code Locked On College for 15% off. Individual results may vary with prescription treatment. Compounding drugs are permitted to be prescribed under federal law, but are not FDA approved and do not undergo FDA safety, effectiveness, or manufacturing review. Please visit the Rogiet website for full safety information.
All right, Clint. We're here in the third segment. The 199 is here. We have made it to the tail end of the show, and I just want you to know, I'm not going to give you the easy way out here. Okay? So I am going to, here's what I'm going to tell you as a setup. Okay? We're going to stick with recruiting. We're going to stick with the 2026 class here. Okay? Georgia, this will shock you to learn. Okay. Georgia had a great run recently with recruits. What if I told you, Clint, Georgia's still in the mix with some big names on the board? Okay? Like some of the biggest names in the whole class are still in play for the University of Georgia. Now, you may say, but I thought we already had one of the top classes in the country already currently as things stand.
No, that's true.
We do. But still, some of the biggest names are on the board. Here's what I'm going to do for you, Clint. I'm going to take Tyler Atkinson off the table.
You can't do that to me.
We're not going to discuss him now.
I want to discuss him now. I want to discuss him. You're going to
have to bring it up in a future segment, okay? Because it's not going to happen.
All right, fair enough.
Here's what I'm going to tell you. You don't need to know the names. You don't need to worry about the ratings or the. This is more a philosophical question for you, okay? We know Jared Curtis is in the fold, okay? Yep. We don't need another 5-star quarterback, okay? No, we know how Georgia has recruited both the offensive line, the wide receiver, the running back, and the tight end in recent months and years. Second to no one in the country. Right?
Bit of a heater, Daniel.
Georgia has players in all of those positions already in the fold for 2026. If I told you, Clint, that Georgia was going to sign one of the top players, which, by the way, they are in the mix for at all 4 of these positions.
Correct.
Georgia's going to sign one of the top remaining players at either offensive line, wide receiver, running back, or tight end to pair with the already lucrative class that we have on offense for 2026 with Jared Curtis, with Jay Lamar, with Craig Dandridge, with all of the players that we have recruited to this point. If I told you Georgia was going to assign one of the top players at running back, offensive line, wide receiver, or tight end, what would you take in the greediest version of yourself? What position would you want to just pile on and recruit the most amount of talent possible?
Well, my answer every time, just for the record going forward, listener, I am who I am.
He is who he is.
I played linebacker. I love. I will always
give me 11. Tyler Atkinson off the table.
Give me 11 linebackers on defense. We're gonna be just fine. I don't know. We're gonna be just fine. Okay, just trust me on this.
He's wrong about that. By the way, he doesn't. That's an incorrect evaluation of football.
So Daniel, I'm gonna go with the way in which football has succeeded for all of time. I don't know how to tell you this any other way, football fan. We like to think we reinvent football. We don't. The look. Y'all remember when we ran like the wing tee was the thing for the longest time? Okay.
Sure.
And then it wasn't. And then we brought.
You mean? I'm sorry. You mean like 6 years ago at Georgia Tech when the wing tee was the thing? Like, is that what you mean?
It's correct.
Like,
and then
literally just a minute ago at Georgia Tech.
And then remember when Arkansas didn't have a quarterback that can throw the ball, and so they just put McFadden in the backfield and just said, "We'll go Wildcat,
wild hog," is what they called it.
And then we said, "Well, let's just air raid this thing out. Let's get 5-6 receivers on the field. Let's take out a tackle somehow and just put another receiver out there." Okay,
sure.
It only works, only operates.
Tell me
if you can control the line of scrimmage, Daniel. It literally only works because the rules of football dictate that if I can get to the ball that you have to hike from this set location, I win.
You do win.
I win if I can get to it faster than you can get to it. Okay. Daniel, I know we got Ogbogu who likely is going to just rocket up. And I mean rocket up.
Yeah, we already got Ogbogu. We got him. That's fine.
Great. I want more tackles, Daniel.
Sure.
I want more tackles. I want more big bodied guys on the offensive linemen moving things around. Do you remember when we had 3 tackles that were just stacked upon each other, first round the biggest men that we've seen at Georgia come through, Daniel?
I do remember.
Andrew Thomas was a technician out there. You still say Solomon Kinley is one of the most versatile offensive linemen. I want that type of absolutely mauling attitude back with us once more.
Yeah.
And Daniel, in order to do that, we're talking about the kid right now who's in Maryland, Emmanuel. He's looking like Oregon. He might Ohio State.
Yeah.
Please don't say Kirby can't. Please don't say Kirby can't get him.
I heard you say it's a done deal.
That's what
he's gone.
That's what
Is that what I heard
been
you say?
Told. It's what people have told me.
Are people saying that?
Well, people are idiots.
Yes, that's true.
But if I can do one, because not only does it win line of scrimmage in football, but it also helps Jared Curtis. It also helps these running backs we're talking about. It adds to what we already have in the fold, and yet what we're still seeking. So give me a top 5 tackle to pair with Ogbogu, who winds up being the second best tackle, I think, in this draft, in this class when all is said and done.
Yeah, it's not wrong, and it was kind of a gift of a question because
he set me up, guys.
Listen, there's no play, at least at Georgia, where there's 5 running backs on the field. There's no play where there's 5 tight ends on the field. There's no play where there's 5 wide receivers on the field. I know that's possible, but not at Georgia. You're never going to have 5 wide receivers on the field at Georgia.
Awesome lucky Oscar Delp's going to be out there before anybody else is.
But every play, Clint, every play that you play, you got 5 offensive linemen on the field. And so you've got to stockpile talent on the line of scrimmage. It's why Elijah Griffin was such a big pickup for us last year. It's why we're so excited about Jordan Hall coming back from injury this year. It's why we feel like Georgia has a chance to really elevate on the defensive side of the ball from a soft defense in 2024 to a solid defense in 2025 is because we are adding pieces on the defensive front that are going to be critical to our success. You've got to have that on the offensive side of the ball. I don't hate that take at all. Listen, Kirby Smart is on a heater, y'all. He cannot and will not be stopped on the recruiting trail. Clint mentioned it in the open. NIL's not going to stop him. The big bag that other schools are trying to drop is not going to stop him. There's nothing that's going to get in the way of Kirby Smart and his ability to land the top prospects in the country. And that is being proven week after week. Guys, speaking of weeks, we are just a handful of weeks away from the college football season in 2025. And Clint and I need football like we need air to breathe. And so if you are with us, if you're along for that sort of a ride, then tune in every day. Send us a question, lockedonbulldogs@gmail.com or at Dawgs Podcast on X, and we would love to answer it and discuss it as we get ready for fall camp, as we get ready for the month of August, as we get ready for opening day, August 31st, 2025, the season where Georgia gets back to the national championship where they belong. He's Clint. I'm Daniel. We are the Locked On Bulldogs podcast, and we will see you guys next time.
See ya.